Here's more wrestling news for December 2nd, 2021. And your headlines for this afternoon include major praise for WWE stars following Raw match. New WWE action figure line features several released superstars. Sikoa acknowledges the Bloodline on NXT 2.0. Ric Flair says Seth Rollins shouldn't have admitted he was scared after fan attack. Spoiler on Anthony Ogogo's AEW ring return. WWE Nixed original plans for infamous Vick storyline. Randy Orton broke another major record on this week's Raw. Exclusive news on Jeff Jarrett's latest promotional endeavor. The Rock names his Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling, and more. We are kicking off with Raw, which saw a huge 10-woman tag team match as part of the rivalry between Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan. That match saw Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Nikki A.S.H., Bianca Belair, and 24/7 champion Dana Brooke defeat Lynch, Doudrop, Tamina, and the women's tag team champions Queen Zelina and Carmella in a match that earned plenty of praise. PW Insider notes that the match impressed a lot of important names backstage, and the feeling was that plenty of women rose to the occasion. Brooke, who turned 33 on Monday, was singled out for praise after taking a top rope bump to the outside of the ring, and Doudrop was also praised for her efforts in the tag team match. WWE wanted to build up Liv Morgan as a challenger for Lynch next week, and the belief backstage is that they succeeded. So whether Morgan wins the title next week or not, the Raw Women's division earned a lot of props this week. Recently, Ringside Collectibles announced the latest series of action figures, but some of the names chosen for the latest wave of Elite figures has got fans talking. In the Elite Series 92 wave, fans can buy plastic copies of Ric Flair, The Fiend, Adam Cole, and Scarlett Bordeaux, all of whom have left WWE this year. Scarlett, who was released last month, took the situation in stride, as she joked that having 3 WWE figures in under 2 years without any matches isn't too shabby. The Elite 92 series also has figures of Charlotte Flair and Rey Mysterio, who remain with the company, but with all the releases as of late, the vast majority of figs in this wave aren't even working in WWE anymore. One man we can expect a figure of, hopefully before his release, is Solo Sikoa, the brother of the Usos and cousin to Roman Reigns. Although he's a member of the family, Sikoa hasn't joined the Bloodline yet, but his actions this week were a big tease that he'll join his family eventually. After defeating Edris Enofi on NXT 2.0, Sikoa walked away from the ring doing the "We the Ones" finger point associated with the Bloodline. It's the first time Sikoa has acknowledged his family heritage on TV, and despite previously saying he doesn't need anyone to succeed, plenty of fans are hoping to see Sikoa join his family on SmackDown sooner rather than later. On last week's Raw, Seth Rollins was attacked by a fan who wrongly believed that the former Universal Champion had conned him. Instead, it was someone posing as Rollins online who had suckered Eliza Spencer out of thousands of dollars, and WWE have promised to prosecute Spencer to the fullest extent of the law. Since the attack, the wrestling world as a whole has been unified in condemning what happened, but Ric Flair is more annoyed at how Rollins reacted. On his podcast, Flair spoke about an interview Rollins had after the attack, saying it was terrifying not knowing what was going to happen. Flair said, "I could say a lot of cute things, but I'm not going to because I don't want to. Every time I say something, I have to involve other people, and then they have to endure the consequences. I've seen that happen, but I've never seen it where the fan clearly was getting the better of the individual. My problem with Seth is that if you're a top guy in this business and you know anything about the psychology of what the fans think and feel, which they really do, you never, ever, ever get off an airplane in LA and say, 'I was terrified.' Terrified of what? Terrifying, Seth, is being in an airplane crash. You were terrified or horrified by a wrestling fan? Come on, man. What I would have done if I was Seth, which everybody should learn from this, is that even though the referees had the guy, I would have jumped back on him, even if I never got a shot in. I know your answer is going to be, well, there's lawsuits and all that. WWE would have covered the lawsuit. Seth would have never got to them. But if you're a heel, you never admit defeat. You just don't do it. Do you think I ever beat anybody? No. But in the minds of most people, I didn't lose because I kept lying about it even though it was a work. You never admit you got your ass kicked, much less being horrified or terrified." For what it's worth, Spencer has apologized for his actions, and after getting out of lockup, is expected to appear in front of a judge in December. It may be easy to say Rollins should have beat up Spencer, but that would have caused huge problems for the company. And despite Flair's Wild West attitude, Seth made the right call by letting security deal with Spencer. AEW news next as Anthony Ogogo has made his return to the company. At last night's pre-Dynamite Dark Elevation tapings, the Olympic bronze medalist teamed with QT Marshall, Nick Camarado, and Aaron Solo in an 8-man tag, with Ogogo getting the knockout win for his team. This was Ogogo's first match since the June 4th Friday Night Dynamite, as he's been out following eye surgery, and now the Governor is back and ready for some all-elite competition. Now, in late 2002, WWE had one of its most infamously tasteless angles, in which then World Heavyweight Champion Triple H accused his challenger Kane of being a murderer. The story was that in his youth, Kane had driven drunk with his girlfriend Katie Vick, crashing the car, and what followed was some of the worst segments to air on Raw, including Triple H in a Kane mask defiling a mannequin in a casket. Speaking on his House of Hardcore podcast this week, Tommy Dreamer, who was with WWE at the time, spoke about the angle and said that the original payoff was that Katie's brother, christened Sick Boy Scott Vick, would have avenged his sister by wrestling Triple H at WrestleMania. Dreamer adds that Scott Vick even got a tryout dark match and that Vince McMahon, who oversaw the entire Katie Vick storyline, liked the name, but ultimately couldn't make it work. It was also claimed that the Scott Triple H match wouldn't just be at WrestleMania 19, but headline the show, and it was John Laurinaitis who had to remind the chairman that Scott Vick wasn't employed and had only had a tryout. Instead of Scott Vick versus Triple H, WrestleMania 19 saw the game beat Booker T, and while that angle and its racial undertones haven't aged well at all, things could have been much worse for Triple H and the fans on the biggest show of the year. At Survivor Series 2021, Randy Orton broke Kane's record, competing in his 177th WWE pay-per-view match. A 19-year veteran of the main roster, this record was a long time coming for the Viper, who broke another record this week. Because RK Bro retained their titles against the Dirty Dogs on Raw, Orton now holds the record for the most matches on Raw, having 437 matches on the Red brand. That number would be much higher had Orton not spent years of his career on SmackDown, but this new record is just another accolade on the Legend Killer's Hall of Fame-worthy career. Now, Jeff Jarrett is a legendary name in wrestling, having worked as a wrestler, booker, and promoter, but now Double J is stepping foot in an entirely different industry. Wrestling Inc. reports that Jarrett has joined the ownership group for Capital City's baseball Springfield Sliders franchise in Springfield, Illinois. Jarrett won't be one of the team's big decision-makers, but he will instead be on hand to provide music and entertainment at games before the team plays ball. In their exclusive report, Wrestling Inc. adds that Jeff is expected to present circuses, live music, and pro wrestling on the 300 or so days the park isn't used for baseball. This was described as right in Jeff's wheelhouse, and it's noted that Double J jumped at the opportunity after being asked by long-tenured minor league baseball executive Jamie Toole. After being blacklisted from WWE in 1999, Jarrett returned in 2018, though quietly left his backstage role earlier this year, and now Double J is trading in the squared circle for the baseball diamond very soon. And we're ending today with some Legends talk, as during a recent appearance on Kevin Hart's YouTube channel, The Undertaker said that Andre the Giant, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, and The Rock are his Mount Rushmore of wrestling. Now, the Brahma Bull has given his own picks, as he tweeted that Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, and Stone Cold are all on his Mount Rushmore. As for the fourth pick, The Rock said it was a three-way tie between Undertaker, Pat Patterson, and NWA star of the mid-20th century, Jackie Fargo. The Rock also gave special mention to Dusty Rhodes, saying he and the American Dream would be dropping elbows behind the monument, but who would you put on wrestling's Mount Rushmore? Sound off in the comments. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.